What is going on, everybody? Hello, hello. Profitable stylists, future profitable stylists. We are unlocking your
Secrets.
potential with these secrets, with
Secrets.
all these salon secrets.
I don't know when to tell a secret because after we tell it, it's not a secret. And then we got to change the title.
Then with that, right. So until we get to this stuff, what we're covering is really more for if you're brand new in the industry and you're trying to make your debut and you're starting,
Or
you're already a established stylist with book and you want to grow, you want to expand.
so we got two secrets.
So we're giving away two sets of secrets.
Two sets. Yeah. And you know what? I've done both. I've been the new stylist, starving, having a pregnant wife, having a kid, barely making enough to pay the bills, trying to figure out how am I going to survive. And I think that the fear and the, oh my God, the anxiety is rising up in me right now. I think that because of that burn on the brain of trying to survive, I'll never forget those early days being in school, barely being able to afford to, I don't know if y'all have Taco Tico up there, man, but before Taco Bell, Taco Tico was a thing. It was near our school and I could barely afford to buy lunch. And then later as a successful stylist, the things I had to do to grow, because there's still things that you can change to adjust and grow. So that's what we're going to cover today. How to really build a nice hair business with a few tips and tricks or secrets for a brand new stylist. And then if you're pretty successful and you have time to watch this, you're not quite successful enough unless if you're watching it live. You still have some room to grow, but maybe you're watching this later because you just like us and you're doing it in your off.
That's always a great thing too. You come back to this for reference.
Then it's still going to work for you. So go.
So let's start off with the new stylist. I'll give you a scenario, and then you tell me what you agree with or what you think of this. A lot of new stylists, they finish school, they put in their hours. Every state is different. And then they get out of there and they either sit on taking the test, or if they're smart, they go take the test immediately. Now they're licensed. They think they're done. A lot of people don't realize to continue learning is really the elixir of life in this industry. So a lot of people think I got my license, I'm done.
Did you say elixir of life? Huh?
The elixir of life and fertility, of profitability. I'm using all the ability words. But what do you think about continuing learning?
I agree. The education. So this morning, my son calls me. You know, I don't know how old he is because I'm terrible with all six of my kids' ages, but he's about 28 or 29, I think. And he calls and says, "Dad, you scheduled me a client that needs color, highlights, and extensions today." And I booked him an extra amount of time. And he said, "You had some stories to tell me about this, what you thought I should do." And I explained to him what I wanted to do. And I said, "I've been going through this color training and it's just gotten more simple in my mind on how to do color." And he goes, "I love it." I said, "What do you love?" "That you are still learning in our business." Yeah. I said, "Well, part of it is I might be selling a color training system here in the near future." And so I wanted to go through it. And as I'm going through it, I'm thinking, I don't remember learning this when I learned color. So I am enjoying, and color is not my strength. So going through a color training and the education, it's kind of key to not stop getting educated. And actually it is first on my list here. I was going to say it's not even first on my list, but it is continuing to get educated. You get out of school, you're not done. I think a lot of students realize that. But the biggest secret, and this might mess up some people in school, to me, the biggest secret that I didn't realize was when I got out of school and got my license, I thought the clients were just there waiting for me. I don't know. I thought it was like getting a job at McDonald's. I get the job, and then a week or two later, that was my first learning curve in the job world as a kid. Like you start working and then wait, how long before you start giving me money? Like 2 weeks later? I got the job because I need money right now. And then as a hairdresser, it was quite a while longer than 2 weeks because I didn't go into a place that paid hourly or salary. It was commission. And so they didn't have customers just ready to come to me, get their hair done.
So
I had to build the business.
That's what leads me into my next point for you, is getting your opinion on this, is building a portfolio. Because a lot of people, they're like, oh, I took a picture of my client and I threw it up online. And it's like, yes, throw it up there on Instagram, throw it up on social media, throw it up there on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't do that. What I'm suggesting is just throwing it up there without a purpose. In my opinion, I think you should be more targeted with why and how and what kind of thing you're building, like what kind of imagery you're building to represent yourself.
Yeah. So something else I did recently, I got invited by a friend to a breakfast meeting, and I was a little leery. I wasn't sure what was going on. It kind of felt like a sneak attack for maybe a Bible study or join a certain church or some new business idea. And I wasn't sure. I was like, why can't you just tell me what we're going to? She goes, oh, it's a B&I group. And you know what? I have not been to one like this in a very long time. There was about 50 people in the room, and they meet every week. So joining these local B&I networking business meetings for a new hairdresser, even if you've been doing it a while, I go in here, they pass the sheet around, and it was a hairdresser that invited me. She needed a beaded topper that we sell for a client of hers in a city nearby. So, it wasn't in my city, wasn't quite competition for me. And she wanted me to bring her one to see if it was the right color for her client. She said, just meet me, because I live in the city that she's working in. I live in Mandeville. She works in the Mandeville area, but I drive to Slidell to work. And so I said, I'll meet you for that lunch, that breakfast meeting, which made me almost late for our live a couple of weeks ago. And I met her, and I get there, and it was crazy how many people in the room. And do you know they have a sheet of how much business, they keep track of the dollar amount of business that they send to each other. And this was a fascinating thing. Out of 50 people in the room, her name is Jackie, and she sent the most business. And it was like, I don't know, like I think it was $26,000 worth of business. And I don't know if that was in a month, a quarter, semi-annually or yearly, because it was just it was in December when I did this. And so I don't know if it was for the whole year, but she had the highest numbers as a hairdresser. She had the most contacts with different people. So in these kind of groups, for those of you that don't know, there's one of a type of business. I'm sitting at a table with the hairdresser, a contractor, a lady was coming for her boss. They build houses. On the other side of me was a guy who had an AC business. So in this room of 50 people, nobody else has an air conditioning business. So he said, yeah, as soon as I joined this group, Jackie introduced me to everybody. And like 30 of them immediately booked checkups on their AC units before the summer started. He said, so I just did a checkup deal for the people in this group. And it resulted in quite a lot of them had problems with their units and were getting ready to break, or some were already broke, or they had a little hot spot or cool spot and they wanted to adjust in the house. He said, I got so much business from joining this group, but I still find it fascinating that the hairdresser in the group was the one that sent the most dollars in leads to everybody else in the group.
You don't realize every client is your poster board, is your billboard of advertising. And you don't realize, in talking to all your different clients, that is networking. That is really, really networking. You are building a physical portfolio and a network of people around you that could potentially be doing work for you by going out there into the world, referring other business, potential business. Just the fact that they're getting your name out there is huge. So networking events such as that, where they're more specifically targeted, that's amazing. It's community outreach. You should definitely be active in your community, because
that brings me into the next one, which would be volunteering.
Volunteering. Yeah. There is 100 different stylists in a 10-mile radius, if not more, from wherever you are located, which means at a minimum, there's about 25 salons, whether they're rental or freestanding or in strip malls, in a 10-mile radius around you as well, too. What is it that sets you apart from everybody else? And things like volunteering or networking and building that portfolio of services and peoples.
Let's go into that a little bit. what can you volunteer for? Some of the things I've done in the past. We had a client one time who was really big, and he owns the karate. You know him now, Jude. But when he was in high school, I was friends with his mother, and I was a young hairdresser, and he was winning competitions all over town, all over the country here in the States. But the art form of karate he does is out of Korea. So of course they're having a Korean trip, almost like a church has a mission trip. You know, they're going to go back to their roots and visit some Korean schools, the founder of his Taekwondo, and they can't afford it. So I said, I'm just young and dumb, and I threw an idea out there, and I said, Miss Cindy, what if we did a cut-a-thon on a Sunday? All my hairdressers were like, yeah, we'll do it. It'll be fun. And they all agreed. And we have a church right across the street. So the Catholic Church is letting out right around the time we're got people out there holding signs, free haircuts for donations or whatever. And people are donating 10, 20, 30 bucks to raise money for him to go to Korea. And we did it. It was a long time ago. I think we raised $500 or $600. It was enough to pay for his plane ticket and a little bit more. We didn't knock it out the park, but some people do a better job and do bigger. I've donated my time many times for Locks of Love, who is a foundation that gives hair systems to children with hair loss. And we just go to a local mall, and she books out hairdressers all over the city, just cut hair for 2 hours. So people walk up, we spray their hair with a water bottle, we give them a haircut. We don't have styling tools, so it's just haircuts, and people donate money. And so you're just strictly cutting for 2 hours. You wear a shirt that says Locks of Love that one of the kids designed and won the competition for. So we all get a free t-shirt and do that. And while you're talking to these people about why you're doing it, who they are, where they live, they choose you to cut their hair again in the future. So you get clients out of it. So there's a lot of opportunities to get out there and cut hair for free, for a cause, for building your business, any trade show, fair, whatever. When they want to charge you for a booth, you just tell them, I'll tell you what, instead of charging me for a booth, give me a space and I'll donate my time. So don't pay for the location. Tell them I will give away my service for free just to give to this cause. I know I'll get clients out of it, but I don't want to pay for a booth if I'm giving away my services. Although it's probably worth even paying for the booth to bring a salon full of hairdressers there and just cut hair or style hair or flat iron hair or braid hair. You know, if it's a Renaissance festival, maybe you're just doing braids or Renaissance style hair for the festival. So yeah, donating your time, volunteering pays off.
It really does. There are so many different ways of doing it. I just had a client on Saturday who volunteers at a food pantry, local food pantry, where they give food out. She accepts donations from the community, and then she helps pass out food to families in need. You know, you mentioned Locks of Loves. We also do St. Baldrick's, for children.
Yep.
I have a client who is a administrator in a mental health facility. So you could, and she asked me to donate some of my time to come in and help out over there with some of the patients who have family, who are going to be appreciative of that kind of things. You've got homeless shelters. You've got old folks home.
High school and grammar school picture day.
High school, seriously, big time.
All you need is a can of hairspray and a comb or a brush. I mean, even these boys need their hair that looks like yours to just be brushed.
Yeah, this isn't I crawled out of bed and this is how it looks. I spent time to make myself look like I didn't do anything and it's messy.
Right.
And that's just a good business skill. It's a good business practice, because then what happens is you volunteer your time. It pays itself forward. Now they're in your chair. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid. You talk about this a lot, but don't be afraid to offer a discount or offer a free service for the first couple of times to new customers.
Free. I know people hate the word. I know people hate that free word, but call it a donation.
Call it a donation. Yeah, right.
And that, or a volunteer. So I got one more on my list for the new people. Oh man, there's so many more to come to mind, but I just put a few of the top most important ones in my head. And I think when you're new, you underestimate or undervalue the power of not learning from your mistakes, but learning from somebody else's. Get a mentor. And I think a lot of people think, I know I thought this way, right out of school, I look and I'm like, let me look at who the successful people are in town. First thing I thought was they would never want to talk to me. They are, who am I? I'm a nobody. I don't know. I barely know how to do hair. I barely know how to talk. I probably am not dressing correctly. Look at them. They're so confident. They're so good at it. They probably won't even want to talk to me. And the crazy thing is I have found that's not true. But we think that when we're on the lower end of the security, we're very insecure. We're making no money, can't even afford to dress nice. So we might not be dressing nice. And you approach this person that is successful. And I know because I'm that person now. When somebody is not successful and they want to talk to me, it's my favorite people to talk to, actually. At a hair show on student day, the kids that are just in school trying to figure it out, they have the biggest, widest eyes and most excited and most willing to learn because they're so excited they still believe everything everybody's telling them. And I like that because they don't have any cynicism yet. They're not jaded. They haven't been burned. They haven't had many mistakes yet, which I say make your mistakes in school, but most of them won't. They don't. They're scared. And so they try to do everything just right and barely learn. And I was the same way. And so I'm not afraid to make mistakes now. I'll try it. I will mess it up because I know getting it right will be worth it. But
I'm going to the salon after this to purposely, I got 4 mannequin heads that I'm going to destroy. I have literally blocked off my book today for the sole intention of going to the salon to destroy these 4 mannequins. I got 7 color formulas that have been in my mind that are either going to work or not.
There you go. Right. And some of them will work. And even when they don't work, you're going to learn something from it. Yeah, but right. Even right there, you're at least smart enough to do it on mannequins that aren't going to complain too much and get some of that learning curve out of your system before you do it on a real person, which you still might not get perfect at first, but at least you'll be further along. And so mentor, and again, that free comes in. I would rather right out of school costs money, right? I mean, I know it costs anywhere from about $10,000 to $25,000 for a year.
On the low end. Yeah.
To go to school to do hair. And so national average, 15, 20,000 probably for a year. You're paying to go. What's it going to hurt to work a few more months for somebody who you can actually learn how to build a real hair business from? You go work for them for free. The free part is what I think scares most people. But where are we? We've got free, we paid to go to school, and we want to get paid to have a job. So this is not worse than where we come from. We paid to be in school. So if we go to work for somebody for free, it's a step in the right direction who teaches us how to do things that will make us money smarter, faster, easier, less mistakes. You don't know the mistakes you're going to make until you get out there and you're trying.
I'll add to that too.
Yeah.
Yes, there are evil people out there that just take advantage of everybody, but that is such a small percentile. If you are showing effort, I just read this report from Fortune magazine. A lot of new hires fresh out of college, they are the ones that are getting let go the soonest in the workforce right now. 60% of new hires straight out of college are representing the current layoffs. 60%. When the owners of these companies are being interviewed, they are attributing the top reasons for the firings, for the layoffs, is to not enough initiative shown, not enough motivation. What is more motivating than telling somebody, I'm going to come sweep hair and shampoo for you, I just want to learn? Right. That person is going to say, yeah, put your money where your mouth is, and that might go for like a week or two or even a month. But if you're putting in your time and your effort and you're showing somebody that mentor of yours that you really are trying, it's just human nature. They're going to want to nurture and take care of you because they're appreciative. And it does pay itself forward, and the last advice I'll say for a new hire or for a new stylist coming into the industry, and then we'll move to the established stylists. Take care of yourself. When you're new, generally speaking, you're young. And if you're not young and you're in this industry, there's a lot of creative freedom and flexibility. There isn't a lot of structure. And so it's very easy to go off the rails. Make sure you exercise. Make sure you eat right. If you like to drink, make sure you keep it minimum and control yourself. If you like to smoke and do drugs, you shouldn't. Keep it under control, man. There is nothing worse. Do your laundry, press your clothes, put yourself together, make that effort. There is nothing worse than coming into the salon and you look like, as the expression goes, the cat dragged in. Nobody wants to be near you. It does not exude confidence at any level or degree, which then puts you in a mental state of shutting down. You are not creating a good environment. I'm always talking about the experience in the environment. It starts with you.
You know, I was ready to go to the established hairdresser, but I think hygiene in general is an under-talked
It's
about.
a good segue to the established stylist
hygiene can cover all areas, actually, right? I have a super sensitive nose. I smell things a lot of people don't. And so I notice when people have bad breath or they have hygiene problems. They don't wash their clothes as often as they should. They rewear them. And it's a difficult subject to talk with people about. But I also notice all the little things. And we were going to a hair show with you guys, with the Graysons, a couple of years ago. And I did a little talk with my staff and the people that were coming, and Jude and Shannon. And even Jude was like, I wish you told me you worry about all these things. I said, I realize I'm going to be in front of people. So I kind of think about it from head to toe, what I need to lose a little weight. I'm getting a little out of, because people are going to judge me for my look up on a stage. If I got a fat belly, they're going to think I don't care about my health. If I got these grays, they think I'm old and I can't relate to these young people. Lucky I look young enough to relate to. And some people think age is wisdom. I think it is. But I look at all these things. I think I look better with a bit of a tan. So I might even tan before I go. I might whiten my teeth if they're getting a little dingy looking. I'm going to get my eyebrows trimmed. I'm going to get them waxed around here. I'm going to be clean shaven. Sometimes I might grow out my hair on my face if it's a little trendy. At the time, I was growing my hair out a little here, but I'm paying attention to I start at the top and go down, at the bottom and come up. What shoes am I wearing? What socks? What pants? What shirt? My skin, my teeth, my hair, all the aesthetics. We're in the freaking beauty business. I mean, come on. We need to care about what we look like. And some of you guys have some crazy outlandish looks and it works for you. I'm not the tattoo guy. Some people are covered with tattoos and it works for you. I don't have any piercings. Some people are covered with piercings, and that's fine. I think the tattoos and piercings work really well in our business. I'm that anomaly where I don't have any of that, but it still can be done with some taste, because like you just said, if you smell, people don't want to be around you. You have to know
especially we're working on top of them with our armpits exposed.
Right. And you're shampooing somebody's hair. Your face is right in their face. If you have bad breath, it shows. And so you need to care about these things. You need to clean your nose out. Nobody's going to tell you, because they're looking right up your nose when you're shampooing their hair. And if it's gross, they're not coming back. So I don't think enough people talk about these things. And since we're not talking to anybody specific, we can talk about it. But I never hesitate to tell somebody when I'm talking to them, I'm like, you need to go clean your nose out. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Because I think that people would say later, I wish you would have told me. Well, I'm the one that will tell you, and hate me or not, I'm going to tell you. So all of that pertains to established stylists too. But what's really weird to say and think that what you can't really know until you get there. It's easier. Oh God, it's easier and harder. And I'll explain both of those in a minute, to increase, double, and make your business way bigger and better as an established stylist than it is as a new one. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, it's not easier mentally, because you're in a rut. You're in a rut. I've been doing it like this for 10 years straight. I'm making enough money. My customer, I can't change anything or I might lose everything. And yeah, that's the fear. So mentally, it's harder because you don't want to change anything because you feel so lucky to have what you have. But technically, there's just a few secrets. A few secrets, simple secrets that can like double your income we're in January right now where this video is going out. If you're watching this real time or within a few days or hours, you can double your income this year with some tactics. If you just change the way you do a few things, it's so easy. Do you want to go into any first, or you want me to?
Yeah, and we're not talking about overhauling your entire menu. We're not talking about you need, to get rid of everybody you have and start all over again. It's not what that's about.
You mind if I eat a cracker? You ready? You ready for the comments?
Bernard's is this a cooking show, Bernard? Take what you've got, really evaluate your book and see. If you're fully booked, go back and rewatch a video on raising your price by 10%. We did a whole live stream about raising your prices by 10%. If you are 100% booked and you have no leeway whatsoever, okay? And we can link that somewhere in the description or something. But if you are not 100% booked and you have gaps in your schedule or gaps in your days, start looking into higher end services that you don't already provide. Okay. And you'd be surprised. I say this to people over and over and over. There is a service out there for everybody. There is a price out there for everybody. I was listening to this motivational speaker.
Me?
And the example that he gave was this. Okay. A pen. Just imagine, Bernard, if this pen, I was doing a yard sale and I had this on the table, just thrown there on the table amongst a bunch of other tchotchke stuff. How much would this pen be worth to you?
$500.
No, seriously.
Nothing.
Okay, now, if this pen was displayed with a chain on it and it came in a pack with like 20 more of them, how much would that be worth to you?
A chain and 20 more. I don't know what a pen costs, but just a little bit more.
Like a pack of 10.
Yeah, I don't know. What is it? $10?
Okay. Okay. Now, this pen singularly by itself in a red velvet case with wood mahogany, and it's sitting in a glass case with lights.
Call it a Mont Blanc.
Call it a Mont Blanc. How much would this pen now be worth to you?
Oh, they're worth hundreds.
Hundreds. At the end of the day, it's the same effing pen. But the way you upscale,
maybe the same ink, but it ain't the same pen.
It's a pen. At the end of the day, it's a pen, man,
Right.
But in the presentation of how it's being perceived for the value,
right?
You can just build yourself a service. You can build yourself a price. And it was a great motivational speech that I attended, that I was listening to. It was fantastic. The guy had great points and other things too. But the point, what it comes down to is, if you take what you already have established because you know that works, then that's fine. Just look into what you're already doing and see if you could dress that up. Or look into a brand new service that you've always had on your wish list, on your to-do list, and build that up. Start thinking about how you could dress that up and create a nice value out of it, So that would be one of my biggest gripes and my biggest advices for established stylists, especially who have time in their book to do stuff like this.
I think a lot of people can relate to some of the bigger brands out there that they love. Yeti, I drink out of a coffee cup that says Yeti on one side and Uline on the other, because apparently Uline teamed up with them and they know a lot of people love Yeti. The insulation value is incredible. And some people would say, oh, it's no better than blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's not, but people do love the name. So there's a lot of name brand stuff, tennis shoes, clothes we wear, because we perceive them as more valuable. So yeah, if you dress nicer, do your hair nicer, clean up around your place, sweep the porch before people, the front door before people come in, you can charge more. But what got me was I hired a salon consultant one time that helped me with one of my stylists that she had me raise this stylist, and it worked. Raise her prices 30%. 30%. Now, this hairdresser, this might be you out there. This hairdresser, when she did the evaluation, she said this hairdresser is working 130% of the time. I said, how do you work? How do you go over 100%? I don't understand. She said, well, I looked at what she said she's supposed to be working. She's coming in early and working late and on weekends to accommodate more customers because she can't fit them all in. And so I said, isn't that great? She's a hard worker. That's exciting. She's making more money. She said, you're going to lose her. I said, what do you mean? She's going to get stressed out. She's overworking. She's going to get burnt out. She's going to hate it. She's going to quit, and she's going to go become a nurse or something else. I said, oh my God, I didn't think about it like that. She said she needs to raise her prices and specifically needs to lose some clients. So we want to lose 30% of her clients, and 30% of 130% still doesn't bring you down to the right number. So she said, we're hoping to lose a little more than 30%, but she can lose 30% of her business. But if we're charging 30% more and she loses 30% of her business, she'll be making the same amount of money working 30% less. And I mean, when you look at it, just the numbers, it's easy to say.
And she's still 100% booked at that level.
Right. And so
sure.
The crazy thing, though, is we get in our head. This is where the problem happens again. We say, oh, my God, I can't raise so-and-so's prices. I've been doing her hair for 15 years and we're good friends. And we talk about our kids and the wedding every other month or every month. And so, you know what? All those people that are your customers, they're hoping their husbands or they get raises at work or their children get raises. All those clients want raises. You have to get a raise. How do you get a raise? You have to raise your prices. And if the customer doesn't understand it, they're not really your friend. And you have to realize, yes, those conversations are great, but you deserve more money if you are that good at what you do. If you're branding yourself in a way that you're getting better at what you do, how do you get more money for being better? You shouldn't be getting the same or less. You should be getting more because you're more valuable. And the only one that's going to give that to you is you or your boss. And so you have to make it happen. If their kid or grandkid goes to school to learn how to do hair and then says, Grandma, I want to do your hair, they leaving you. They are leaving you, but you won't do anything to mess up the relationship, but they will. They will do it, but you won't. So just think about that. You and your family comes first. And so some of you guys needed to hear that you needed to raise your prices. And if you're really scared and you just feel like I could never do it, try something stupid. Raise all of your services $1. It won't even make a difference. You'll make a few more dollars. You won't lose one client, but you'll make more money.
But man, will you hear about it?
You will hear about it. But no. Right. So you might as well go 5 or 10. You're right. People are going to complain about, what do you mean $1 more? Yeah. Everything's going up except for you. All right. So we talked about raising prices. That is my number one soapbox issue, but it's not the one that really changes your life as much as this other one I'm super passionate about.
I think you should save that one.
Okay. Oh God, I got to circle it now. It's the one.
Do you want to get into it, or do you want to save it?
It's the first one that really changed my business from the beginning. Well, the one that I kind of have on new and established is education. When my son said, Dad, you're still learning color, I can't believe it. I was like, yep, I've loved education from the beginning, and maybe that's why I'm successful. So maybe I will save this other one to the end, but we'll run through the other ones real quick. So education, always. Education always. If you don't love education and learning, I don't believe you can stand still. People think, I'm done, I'm going to stand still. But you know what? The world is moving. And if you stand still, you may not be going backwards, but you're being left behind. So it looks like you're going backwards. So
let me give you this compliment, Bernard.
Go ahead.
So last week when you was asking me some of them color questions because you're reading that manual, that book thing, right? That you got.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun to answer the questions. And it's cool because like here's you're learning something new. So just your natural excitement of wanting to get some clarification, get some you have questions, you want to fully grasp it. It's infectious. After getting done talking to you about them color questions you was asking last week, I went and talked to two other people myself, and we all just had a whole conversation and debate about it. It then snowballed into me reading a couple of articles about the color stuff that I like to follow and read about. It just, you don't know where it leads to and what it can create.
True. And the one that blew me away about color, we all know the three primary colors, but I'm reading this training and it says that we have rods and cones in our eyes. And I think that I get them backwards now. I think the rods see shades of gray and black, and basically for seeing at night. And the cones see color, and only three colors. And then they mix them all together to get the other three colors. And I'm thinking, surely they're the three primary colors. And it's not. And that is blowing my mind. And I haven't had time to go and research that yet. But our eyes see red, blue, and green, not red, blue, and yellow. Where the heck does the primary color system come from? If you know, please put it in the comments. I need YouTube videos to watch. I need to figure out, where does the primary color system come? Because everybody I've asked, what three colors do you think our eyes see first? They all say the primary colors. Even you guys, I mean, kind of John guessed on that first. You were like, oh, no. And then you were like, oh, that makes sense now.
No, because it has to do with digital format and how we digitize imagery to come back to our brain to process it. It's not about creating, it's about seeing. You got to listen to the question. And it's really, really fascinating. It's fun, but that's what I mean. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And just it really, you never stop learning. You talk to anybody successful, an athlete, a businessman, a family person, it doesn't matter. Everybody always says, I learned something new every single day. It keeps you moving. It keeps you motivated.
I think so. So education is a big one. Raising prices. You brought in the high-end service thing. I thought I might touch on that a little bit. That's what kind of, between the education in my mind, like I want to learn things, but then I wanted to focus my learning on things that made more and more money. That was my track. Like there was times when I watched people like, oh, look, there's lip fillers. I want to learn lip fillers. I want to learn eyelash extensions. I want to learn, I think we can do Botox in this state. It's just a needle. And I'm thinking, well, God, those are all over the place in prices. I had a bit more organization with my trajectory of learning. Each thing I learned had to make more money than the last thing I learned, or I was going backwards. It wasn't, for me, the goal was be more successful, more profitable. I know some people just follow an artistic path, and that's fine for you, but it might not make you more money. But if you love it enough, that might be what matters to you.
You be successful with it. How profitable you will become is really what we're talking about,
Yes. Yeah.
And it's okay to be successful as long as you're happy, but you got to be content with them being here where your potential could have been or should have been up here.
Yeah. And so higher end services, I mean, there's just a few out there. You all know what they are, and you know which ones we do. We've been talking about them forever. And hair extensions being one of the easiest to pop into, and just more, everybody wants more hair. So it's an easy one to make more money. And then you can literally specialize in it. We're writing this hair extension education for schools right now. And as we're going through it, I'm explaining how much money you can make and what time frame. We're breaking it all down. Jude's writing it out on a like a gigantic sticky notepad. And his wife is leaving the room to go to the bathroom and taps him on the shoulder and says, he's the karate guy, but she taps him on the shoulder and says, honey, I think you should start doing hair extensions.
Wrong business, man.
Right. He makes really good money in the karate world. He charges $200 an hour for private lessons because he is that good at formulating things that make kids win competitions. But at doing extensions, you can make more than 200 an hour. Now, maybe we don't fill every hour of the day. So, she's thinking
subjective, but it's
yeah,
awesome. The perception of that value is really, really impressive,
One that I've been very, very weak on through the years, but you mentioned it earlier when we were talking before the live, and it does a lot for your business and your professionalism and says who you are. But it's always been one of my weakest is selling retail.
I'm big on retail.
I know.
I'm really big on it.
And it makes a difference in your relationship with the client because it shows them you care for more than just today and how you do their hair and collect money from them. It shows that you care about their hair when they're at home, when they're doing their hair, when they're styling their hair, how it looks later, all the way through. So I get, some people will say you can make so much more on retail. I have to always be honest and say I only looked at, most places paid me 10%, even if it was 20%. If I sold $30 in retail, I was making, depending, $3 to $6. Am I saying that right?
You're saying that correctly. And
whereas
that's
if
always
I sold $30 in more hair services, I would make 50%. So I would try to sell more service than retail. And some people tell me, we'll sell both. But it's more than that little bit of money you make just from the retail sale is what I've grown to understand the bigger picture. It's the relationship.
And that's really what it's about. There's so much more to the retail aspect of things. And I know it's always been a hard topic for stylists to swallow. It's always something that's argued about a lot. And there's 1,000 excuses out there as to why people don't want to do it or shouldn't do it, give up on doing it. But like you just alluded to, if you truly feel you can make more money doing services, then an easy way, even if you don't raise your price, even if you don't add new services, even if you don't expand your offering,
right?
Increasing your retail sales will automatically bring you more services of what you are currently doing right here, right now. And this is how it works. Yes, you can perform services and you can make more money doing a service if you're on a commission, but you cannot perform services 24 hours a day. Retail can. Retail can be there waiting to go 24 hours a day if it's positioned correctly.
I was getting ready to bring that up. You sell it once right now. They run out of it and they come back to buy it when you're not even in the shop maybe. And if you've got a good business structure, you should still be making the percentage of the shampoo they buy in a few weeks, even if you're not the one selling it, if it's your client. So yeah.
Here's the other thing. It increases customer loyalty with
well, that's
you.
What I meant by I'm glad you went deeper into it. That's kind of what I meant by relationship.
Yeah.
It builds a tighter relationship.
Because it gives you an excuse. You see that client once every, let's just say average 4 to 6 weeks. Or 6 to 8 weeks, depending on what kind of services they're getting from you.
Right.
You're only touching them or talking to them or seeing them 6 to 8 times a year. You're not seeing them every single month consistently, unless they're a solid 4-weeker. You are not seeing them, at 12 times a year. You're only seeing them 6 to 8 times a year. Okay, that's the average. With retail, it increases the amount of times you see and talk to that person by 4 to 6 times more.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I'm not making these numbers up. These are statistics. This is science. Yeah. So now you're seeing somebody over a dozen times. You have just increased your opportunity to make income 4 additional times at the minimum. Okay. That conversation with that client, as they see the results from using the retail that you suggested, of course, they're going to go brag to somebody else. Of course, they're going to be locked in with you more. When they see the next commercial or the advertisement come on with the next person trying to sell them snake oil, they're going to confirm it with you first before anything else. And if you have the opportunity to get them that product, take the profit loss if you have to. Making 80% profit instead of 100% profit is still profit. Okay. If you make $3 less on the sale, you're still making the sale. I've talked about this on other lives before. I'm extremely aggressive, and nowadays is easier to sell than any other time. I sell products I don't even carry because I go buy them, I bring them to the salon, I make the client come back and pick them up. Everybody's used to waiting for something to get delivered. So what's the difference if they get it delivered to their house or they swing by and pick it up from you? It's the value. Somebody will drive to 3 different grocery stores to get 3 different deals on groceries, not realizing they wasted 2 hours of their time and how many mileage of gas. But the value of, I got eggs for $3 instead of $7. I got, meat on sale for $1 less. I got soda, buy 3 for 20 or whatever. It matters. People like deals. Play the game. Help the people, help yourself. It's a win-win all the way around. I freaking take coupons from Bed Bath & Beyond. They send 20% off coupons for bedding. I've taken coupons for bedding and taken it off their shampoo purchase. I don't care because I'm mentally creating what's 20%. Seriously, like a dollar off my shampoo. Who cares?
Right.
But the person is happy. It's an extreme example that I'm giving you, but I've done it. That's how willing I am to create the habit.
And open that purse, girl. Really, let me see what coupons you got. I'll honor that. That's for crawfish. That's fine.
The fact of the matter is somebody want to buy something. They want to do business with you, and people do more business with the people they like, and they refer new business to the current business that they're with.
I like that.
Everybody got a guy for something.
Point. If they got coupons in their purse, they like discounts.
Play with it. Play along.
That's funny.
So I really, retail creates loyalty. Loyalty creates profitability and long-term sustainability. I'm using all the ability words today.
It's more conversation, more things to talk about, more things to trust you on if you're being honest with them. I see all that. I wasn't a strong retailer when I was behind the chair. And so that's inspiring. That's good stuff that I hadn't thought about. The one last secret, and then I have to go, for me, changed my life was rescheduling the appointments to clients before they leave.
Huge.
Before they leave. The dentist does it. When I go to the dentist, she just pulls the calendar up and says, what's a good day for you? She doesn't say, would you like to make your next appointment before? It's not a freaking question. And it doesn't matter how many times I tell my own staff it's not a question. I hear it in the salon. Would you like to make your next? No, don't say it like a question. Say it like a statement. Make it a statement. Let's go ahead and make your next appointment. Is Tuesday still always a good day for you every week? Do you have different days off? Ask the questions that get the answer that you're looking for. Are you always off on Tuesdays? Yeah. How'd you know? Well, you're here on a Tuesday. I thought maybe Tuesday worked best. So let's do this again in a month or 2 weeks. If it's a men's haircut, or 6 weeks. Right. Let's do this again. Let's get you on the book. What time of day? You want to do it in the morning again? You want to do it in the evening again? If that's the question, it's, is it morning or evening? It's not yes or no. It's when or when, what day or day. And so I opened the salon that I own now. And one of the first few hairdressers I hired, I remember his name was Scott. And he sees me scheduling my customers as they're leaving. I'm just putting them on the book. It was a paper book. Computers are just coming out in the salon world, 25 something years ago. And he said, how did you learn? Where did you learn that from? I said, by accident. I've been doing it for a few years, and a couple of customers wanted to schedule their next appointment. And I thought, wow, this is powerful. I just need to do this with everybody. So I just started doing it because I naturally got busy and I kind of had to. And so he said, I just paid $100 to go to a seminar on how to build my business. And that's all they talked about was rescheduling. I started doing it, and it's worth it, but it cost me $100. You saved $100. And I thought, oh, there must be something to this. If you paid $100 to learn how to do this, that was a lot of money 25 years ago, $100 to learn that, you know, like going to a $500 seminar now to learn how to reschedule. And then it happened to me. I say then, actually right before that, I had started doing it at the salon I worked at, but before I opened my salon, I went and got my hair cut at 3 or 4 different salons in town to get some ideas of decorating ideas. And I was surely not going to make another appointment before I left. But this girl, she says, let's make your next appointment. I said, oh, I'll call. She goes, oh, but you got to get a haircut. And I said, well, I know, that's why I'll call. And she goes, but we might not be available when you call. So let's go ahead and put it on the book now. She didn't give up. And this is what I liked. She tried at least 5 or 6 times. And I said, well, my schedule's pretty free. I'll be fine. She goes, that's fine. We'll just put it down anyway. And then when it comes close, I'll call to remind you a couple days ahead of time. If it doesn't work for you, we'll just move it then. You're not locked in where you got to pay for it. I just want to get it on the book. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll reschedule it. And I was like, okay. And I never went back to this place ever. And I knew I wasn't. And I still made the appointment because she was so forward with it. She made me make an appointment. She was so nice and just dressed nice and pretty and polite. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Okay. After I argued for a little bit, but she stayed nice and I did it. Now I ended up calling and canceling when they tried to when they tried to remind me, but she got me on the book. And so the point is, sure, they're not all going to show up when you push them and force them like that, but most of them do. And
so this is my hierarchy.
Go ahead.
If you're already on the book, you get priority for moving your schedule to a different day. If that situation doesn't exist, then the next priority comes to my waiting list, people wanting to try to get in that day to get squeezed in or looking for an opening or something. If that doesn't exist, then the next priority comes into call-ins. Somebody just calling in, hey, Eddie, do you have time on, next Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning, whatever time, right? Then that's the third person. Then the last person is the walk-in. I very, very rarely these days take a walk-in on the spot. Not because I don't want to do it. I physically do not have the time to be able to do it.
Right.
And so all the clients know now, and I've done this to good clients. They did not reschedule. They did not get on a waiting list. They just called in. Yeah. And I said, well, I have this person before you. I have to offer it to her first. Yeah. She goes, are you serious? I said, I told you, get on the book. I prioritize who's on the book first.
Yeah.
It just creates, people like regiments. People like, regiments. So you need to help them.
I started having people get frustrated that their time was taken the next month. So they would say, and this is back in the paper calendar time, she would say, you know what? I like this day and time every month. Could you just go ahead and book me for the rest of the year? Yeah. Yes. Then another lady said, wait a minute, she got my time. So I'll take the time right after her. But next year, put me for 2 years.
I want that time.
Her time. So then that lady, when she found that out, she goes, oh, really? How far does your book go? I want my time back on the 3rd year. And from then on, you never let me miss that day and time. I mean, so some fun little competition starts happening with your clients when you start. It's a whole different world, and it's a fun first world problem type of thing. But
it is.
Yeah, but then they start competing for the days and times, and their children were married, so they were mother-in-laws for each other, and so this was their little secret battle.
Awesome. Yeah.
They tell each other. I was like, oh God, I'm sorry, Miss Margie, but Miss Lynn got that time. She's like, well, she's not getting it next year. Oh yeah, she did what? And so, and my book only went out like 6 months in advance. I mean, so I had to turn so many pages to get this done. But with a computer and a click of a button, recurring every 4 weeks, 3 years out, or whatever. And then all the other things make so much more sense. When you start seeing your book right now, you can see what's going to happen in December, and you're almost booked solid in December. Well, you should be raising your prices right now, because if you're booked that far in advance, what are the chances you're going to lose everybody between now and December? No, you're going to fill up new spaces, new clients, new prices, making more money. It just gets better. I'm done, Eddie. I'm wiped out.
I think it was a great conversation.
Me too.
I think we shared a lot. We have no more secrets. They're
all
no
comments. So I think we have all our stylists are busy making money. We already helped everybody become profitable, and nobody can watch us live because I don't see anybody commenting today.
Because they're too busy writing down, taking notes.
I hope so.
Give us a question. Let us know what you think.
Click all the things, it really does help us. And if you want to learn any things we teach, down below in the description, we have links to videos on how to learn some of the things that we teach. But it also helps us on this channel get more hairdressers to see it. If you do subscribe, ring the bell, click the little thumbs up, make a comment, do it all. If you're going to do one of it today, do it all. Bye.
Catch you all next week.
Don't tell anybody the secrets.